It looks like Ubisoft is in a lot of trouble. When I mean trouble, I mean financial trouble, like really bad trouble right now. And to be very honest, I view it all as bad leadership going on in Ubisoft, but let's get into it. What's up guys, I'm DBFig and this is today's gaming news. Ubisoft is in it, man. I mean, I don't know what to say at this point. Ubisoft, at least in my eyes, has been in a slow downward spiral for the last couple years. Every once in a while they get a peak and they do pretty well, but it seems like, I would say, the last 5 years, you've seen mistake after mistake after mistake, but their major franchises always propped them up. Well, what's happening recently is that a lot of their games are getting delayed. They keep on doing a sunk cost into games like Skull and Bones, a game that should have been canceled a long time ago. Let's be real about Skull and Bones. Skull and Bones, when they show that trailer off, does not look good. It looks like they took a segment from Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I mean, Sea of Thieves already has a leg up on that, even though Sea of Thieves is a more of a goofy, have fun time type of game, while Skull and Bones tries to be more like realistic in a way, but it's a sunk cost. Right now, I feel like Ubisoft is in a position right now that all they're doing is throwing money at the problem without actually organizing themselves. This is a telltale sign of just straight bad management. The gaming industry as a whole, there's a lot of bad management in the gaming industry. I'm not talking about the people who, day to day trying to, do the job. I'm talking about the upper management who keep on throwing new ideas, who trying to implement all these crazy monetization strategies or feature sets that, it's one of those situations of the devs are just doing whatever the big guys are telling them to do, but the big guys keep on changing the mark to, whatever next shiny object is next, that things suffer over time. And Skull and Bones is a perfect example of that. The Skull and Bones that they showed almost 7 years ago, and what they talked about back then and what they're showing now, they're not the same game. Albeit they didn't really show that much of the original Skull and Bones, but they tried to really market it as this grand pirated adventure and raiding and all that type of stuff. And when they showed the actual game, it was just, one step up from a, strategy game, except you actually get to control the boats in real time. That's really what Skull and Bones came out to. As a matter of fact, when they really showed off Skull and Bones, the one thing they just showed off the most when it first got released was the water effects. And I know 7 years has passed. There's some great engines out there that can produce water that looks excellent these days. Heck, even Sea of Thieves, the water in Sea of Thieves looks amazing when you're out in the ocean. So that little tidbit that Skull and Bones initially released on to catch the eyes of gamers has kind of washed away a bit. Amongst all these issues, you have 4 titles that already got canceled. Of course, Skull and Bones. Then you have the 2 titles that they thought was going to do really, really well in 2022, and that was Mario's and Rabbids Sparks of Hope. The Mario and Rabbids series, it's not my type of game, but I know a lot of people who played it and said it was really, really good. And I know people who actually bought the Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope and said, yes, this game was really, really good. But it never came across to me as a headliner game, especially for a company that needs big major titles. Mario and Rabbids seems like a B-tier series game, and I don't mean that as an insult. I mean as one of those, like, there's the Assassin's Creed series and then there's Mario and Rabbids will be like the second layer, but you lead with something like Assassin's Creed, and then you have everything else kind of as the foundation to build everything up. But because they keep on pushing and delaying other games that people know from Ubisoft, what they want from Ubisoft, and they're pushing, I guess you could say, the B tier out there was so much stuff out. Why would someone want to pick up Mario and Rabbids when they were picking up other games out there? Plus you have the recession, people don't have as much disposable cash out there. Even Just Dance 2023 underperformed as well, which Just Dance, even though a lot of people joke about Just Dance, and the reason Ubisoft keeps on pushing it, because it's consistently one of their highest sellers across the world. Just Dance does incredibly well, but this time that's not the case. Well, in the press release they stated something in the nature of this: they're facing major challenges as the industry continues to shift towards mega brands and long-lasting titles that can reach players across the globe, across platforms and business models. which again, if you were paying attention to what Ubisoft, a couple years ago, they announced this, they stated that they're trying to move more towards a live service format for all their games. So, you know, games like The Division in short. And I'm sure that games like The Division, Assassin's Creed series, and others are getting more and more live service type of games. That's why if you looked at the last Assassin's Creed game and the one prior to it, Odyssey and Valhalla, they seem to have more, you could say, grindy RPG elements. They have stuff in there to, you could hurry your game along or, gain levels faster. The whole point of that was to get people to spend more money, to be almost like a live service light. It wasn't a full live service, but like a live service light, a lot of convenient stuff. But they made the game in certain parts intentionally grindy because they want people to finally give up and just buy those things to push the game along. And I remember when Odyssey first started doing that, there was a major pushback, which is a shame because I played a little, I'm not a big Assassin's Creed guy, but I played a little bit of Odyssey and the game was great. I had a lot of fun with it, but I don't want to, I love RPGs. I have no fear of grinding out games. I have no fear of that, but I don't want to do that in an Assassin's Creed game of all stuff. I mean, I'll do that in Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, or something like that, but that's for a different reason. It's the JRPG reasons, but not in an action adventure game. That's one of the reasons why, at least personally, I've never been a big Assassin's Creed person, because I'll see all the icons on the map, and I'm one of those people that would get almost like fatigue from seeing all that. And after a while, I'm just like, there's just too much to do, and most of it is just not interesting. You're just giving me busy work for the sake of busy work. And sometimes you'll include quests that you have to do at least a little bit of that busy work in order to progress the main quest. I'm not about that life. I don't have enough time to be about that life. I want to move forward and play the damn game. And even if I just miss out of 70% of the content, but you make that 30%, the main content, really, really good, I'm going to be satisfied. So what is Ubisoft doing to counteract this other than the normal, let's try to save money and cancel a bunch of stuff? Well, one, they're basically saving about $500 million when it comes to research and development of upcoming premium and free-to-play games, and canceling a bunch more. And they're going to look forward to potentially restructure and reduce costs in the coming year, which unfortunately means probably a lot of people losing their jobs, because that tends to be the first one to go. And they're hoping by the target of December that they save about $725 million from its previous target of $830 million. And so that's what they're doing. They're lowering projections, cutting a bunch of stuff to save money. But at this point, I don't know. Ubisoft seems like the type of company that someone like Xbox or even Sony may come by and go, hey, we want to buy you. And, Ubisoft might be willing, because remember a couple years ago they fought off a hostile takeover. They fought that off. This time around, if they keep on going down this path, I see one of the big companies either making a very strong partnership with them, making sure that their games come to their platform first, or just outright buying them straight out if this keeps on going. But what are your thoughts? Leave them in the comment section below. And as always, thank you for being awesome.